Hello everyone, my name is Jamie,
Hello everyone, my name's Gregor.
and this is the McHugh and Buzz podcast. This week we're talking about Facebook Marketplace. Cool. Perfect. Well, this week obviously it's all about the Facebook and how the marketplaces became a dominant place for people to get rid of stuff from selling from their house, or they're looking to sell their car. Literally everything's on it. You could even sell your house, which I've seen that quite a few times, people put up their adverts. And I thought, genius, why wouldn't you? You know, you're trying to get rid of something. Why not just stick it in there?
I think referring to getting rid of your house is quite different to a sofa or something smaller value.
Yeah, but you're still trying to get rid of it, aren't you?
No, it's most like people spend a lot of money on their house. It's like an investment. You don't get rid of a house.
Yeah, but what do you do when you sell a house? You get rid of it.
You move on.
Anyway, let's get into it. This episode is obviously me and Gregor have used Facebook Marketplace on multiple occasions. I think probably me more than you, Gregor.
Agreed. I think you're on it every second of the day, to be honest.
What's that? Sorry, I missed you.
I was just saying you're on it every second of the day.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's a really good platform to find a deal, find a way to make a little bit extra cash on the side.
Why don't you let us know what you're looking for and how you actually use it then?
So Facebook Marketplace, I really use it pretty much all the time. When I've obviously done podcasts before, we've discussed a little bit about how last year in the challenge we did £1,000 given from our dad. I then used the money to basically go to Facebook Marketplace, buy and sell clubs. I've also used it from I think 13, 14. The best video actually, one of the funny ones is when we're looking back at family footage, and I got a bike for my Christmas, and there's a wee section in it where I was like, oh, I'm going to then sell this through eBay, and I think Facebook's now taken over that.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember that video.
So when I was putting your 21st video together and I found that clip, I was like, this is so you. But you just, Christmas Day, got all your presents around you and you're already thinking about, I'm going to sell this on eBay as a little kid.
I think I just love a deal. I think the opportunity to make a quick profit of something is so appealing to me. I've done it throughout my whole life and I don't see any point stopping. But obviously bringing it back to Facebook, Facebook's basically the platform where I now go to for everything. It used to be looking at eBay, Gumtree, these sort of platforms, but ever since Facebook Marketplace was launched, it's just been a heaven for people to basically put up anything they want rid of. And you have so many different families, different areas as well. Obviously being in Aberdeen, it's got some wealthy areas. Some people just want rid of stuff. I bought a set of golf clubs, as I said in the last episode. The guy was clearly just wanting rid of them.
And they were all sourced on Facebook Marketplace. And we were talking about this one time, and it's what strategy do you approach messaging people on? Because people are just there to buy and sell, but you're one to get a deal. So how do you approach that to get a discount?
So the biggest thing I do is obviously the initial conversation, when you start it, I just be blunt. Okay, I'm willing to offer this much. I can come and collect it today. I've got cash. Do you want to go ahead? That's legit. Straight to the point. I'm not going to be oh, what's the condition? What's this? Because I'm I'll see it if I go to them. I also make sure it's somewhere where I can always go to. I've never done one where I'm oh, can you post it to me, because don't trust that. Don't want to pay over the phone. Don't want to do eat PayPal or anything. Just go see them, see how it goes. And then normally what I'll do is if I get a 50 bags, or say I put in an offer, so say something was 300, a set of golf clubs. I know they're worth 400. I could sell them at probably between 350 to 400. I'm looking at getting them at sub 250. My top dollar on it would be 250, but I'd proper lowball them at okay, I'll go 185, some random wee number miles below where they're asking, for them to then just give me an offer back. Sometimes you'll get it that they're just straight off the bat, no, it's set price, that's it. I'm okay, cool, move on, next one. There's no point wasting my time trying to haggle with you. Whereas you have some person that will come back to you and go okay, I can do 265, and you're okay, you've just dropped. You've went from 300 down to 265. That's quite a considerable percentage to drop in price. You're willing to go more. I know I can get you more. I've hooked you. You know I'm going to be interested in coming getting it. And what I do then is just back forward until I go, okay, is that price? They've said they're final. They're not going to do any more. And then I go for it. And then I'll be like, okay, now book an appointment to come and see them. Go see it. If it's worth it and the condition's good, great. And the best thing as well is if you go to see something and its condition isn't what they describe, it's another tactic. It's another way to get a fiver, a tenner, or even 20 quid off of it. And you end up finding some really good steals.
Are these all?
One of the things,
do you pay much attention to about location, or do you look too much into the photos? Do you look too much into the actual individual selling? Do you have used that as part of your tactics? Or
I think the biggest thing I do is like I've only got set things I would buy and sell. Like I couldn't go into Facebook Marketplace and look at everything to buy it and then sell it. So like the first thing I look at is golf clubs. I know the golf clubs, I know brands, I know stuff. You know, me and Greg played golf for all of our lives. I know what they're worth. I can understand the value of certain products and what they, you know, what gives that value. And the other one I've done before is cameras. Bought and sold cameras quite a few times over sort of teens to now. And I can get understanding of, okay, that's good value. Anything that I've not done, so anything that I've bought and I'm a bit like, that's a bit odd, I don't know how to sell that. It's kind of one of these ones where it's just, I go for eBay's pricing. eBay's the one where I feel you get the most realistic pricing of what something's actually worth and what people are willing to pay, because you can view multiple different ones on how they've done and how recent they've sold. So that's how I judge.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that's how I judge the pricing for like what I'm willing to pay as well.
Would you advise someone to just stick to what they know, or you know what you've used there with eBay and stuff? You could do that with other things.
100% would say if you're getting into this and you fancy making a little bit extra money, stick with what you know. If you know an industry, if you're a skier and you know skiing equipment and you know that stuff, you know in the seasons, people throughout the summer maybe trying to get rid of stuff. Keep an eye out, bulk buy, hold on to it, and then in the winter you can sell that for this much. Or if you're talented and you can fix things as well, really good opportunity to buy like furniture. Furniture on Facebook Marketplace literally goes for nothing. People sometimes put up sofas for free, cabinets for free, and you can pick up these sort of things. And if you're arts and craft, or if you've done design or something like that, buy it, go get it, take it home, refurb it, make it look good, and then try and sell it yourself. There's tons of different variants to do with it. That's one thing I like about it. It's not for a set person. I think, you've got a degree in design. You could buy stuff to then redesign it.
What do you think about
marketing? Like everyone's got different things they can do with it.
Yeah, definitely. I guess what's great about the Facebook Marketplace, and I guess any sort of marketplace that we've liked, is the variety, like we just mentioned, of items there. Facebook's obviously taken over. I think it's partly because it's very easy to access on the app. It's almost like they made it like a big part of their app experience, like right in the middle at the top. But there's also the element of, I've noticed a lot more ads going on there. So I feel like they're using that to generate a lot more revenue. Whereas before it was just literally just all listings of people selling stuff. Have you noticed that lately?
Yeah, definitely. It's like you scroll down, there's probably like 3-4 sort of rows of different people selling stuff, and then there's like a row of ads that go in. It's just one of these ones where I'm like, it's bound to happen. Everything's gone that way. You look at like anything.
Yeah.
You look at, there's an ad.
Yeah.
There's something there to try and get your attention, to try and buy something.
And I guess
I just roll over it.
Yeah. You kind of like you blank out eventually. Shocked me at first. The other aspect as well is it's obviously mainly, I guess, it could be a downside, but you mainly focus on like the local market, because where you can drive to, where you can get a bus to, where you can go and visit and see the product that you're going to buy. So obviously that opens up avenues for negotiation on a local level and going to go and see, like what you've mentioned. But I guess, same again, does that limit you to what people are posting where you live? And then if you're not in a city, you're kind of like, I'm limited.
Yeah.
Or if you're somewhere rural, you're a bit more limited as well.
Yeah, definitely. I do think they're trying to branch out, though. I don't know if you've seen the updates that have happened in the last sort of like couple months with Facebook sort of marketplace, where now you can add like, do you want local pickup or local? Would you drop it off, or even post? You can actually add like how much you be willing to pay for post, and then they can actually just pay through Facebook now. It's a whole payment system. I think they're obviously just trying to crack down on people. You know, there'll be people out there probably making a living doing buying and selling Facebook Marketplace stuff and just avoiding paying tax, avoid paying fees and stuff because it's all just be like it could just be it's just cash in hand a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
So I think there's probably like a crackdown on that aspect of trying to make sure it's like all monitored and how they can track it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, obviously I've talked a lot of what I've used it for, and I genuinely think from Facebook Marketplace I have bought and sold probably at least 100 items.
Okay.
And I've probably over the 100 items I have done, I have probably made at least £2,000, if not 3,000.
Okay.
I reckon I'm in that region of the amount of stuff I've bought and sold over the last 10, probably nearly 10 years of doing it. Like from a young age, I think I've probably done that sort of numbers.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you use Facebook Marketplace for, and what do you buy? You don't really say much that often about it. You obviously go on it, but
I'm on it. I'm on it browsing because I find it more interesting than my actual feed. Gonna forget updates from news articles and friends. I'm like, I'll go and see what's for sale, and then I guess in the past I have used it for buying like gadgets and equipment and stuff that I've needed to, I guess better what I'm using. For example, I'm pretty sure my screen that I'm using at the moment is from Facebook Marketplace, which was local. Picked it up. What else? Probably like a desk or something is Facebook Marketplace. Quite a lot of like furniture as well. Just bits and bobs. I've got a sidebar which is definitely from Facebook Marketplace, and just basically use it to find stuff that people don't want but are at a reasonable price, and I'm not willing to pay full price. It's still a new condition, so I'm just like, why would I just pay full price and get it for Facebook for a quarter of it?
It's funny that, yeah, definitely. Like, but one of the funny things you said there is like, I just looking around the room, I'm like, I've bought so many things from Facebook Marketplace.
Your whole room, Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, desk I got in Edinburgh, monitor in Edinburgh, camera from home, bought from local person at home. I have 2 sets of golf clubs bought from home. I have basically I actually in this room I'm counting currently about 12 different items.
There you go.
From Facebook Marketplace.
I think it's just the nature of stuff being secondhand and a bit cheaper, and ultimately the value that you have from the items is exactly what it was brand new. So, like, why not?
Completely. What I want to do now is, okay, Facebook Marketplace, as I said, buy and sell everything on it. I've got a belt of our story.
Okay, yeah.
I love looking at cars.
Tell us.
So, I love to look at cars. As me and Gregor, we've watched Top Gear, Grand Tour. We love that aspect of looking at stuff. I watch tons of YouTube of people driving different cars, seeing what they're getting up to. And I've always wanted to get myself something new. Like, obviously, this is my second car I've driven. Both of them have been Ford Focuses. Been okay. Had a shot of driving other people's cars. Did obviously the driving weekend last weekend. Been in other vehicles. But what I do now is to figure out what car I do want is I message people interested in cars that I think I would like to drive, or cars that I've dreamt of sort of driving at some point, over since I've got my license. And so like I've driven like, old Volvos, I've driven a BMW 120D, a BMW M140i, like really some sporty cars, just to try and see, okay, do I see the value in the product, of price? Because some of these cars I've been worth like 10, actually the BMW was worth like 17 grand.
Okay.
Expensive cars to go into, but I get the experience of being like, okay, do I like the environment? Is this where I could picture myself driving? Do I think I'm willing to pay certain
Yeah,
amount for it.
got you thinking there. Nice.
And it's just like, I think it's a perfect way. People's willingness to actually just be like, here, drive my car is unreal.
Is
you
it
could be a
genuinely unreal?
stranger. Like, I've spoke to people who have literally spent three minutes messaging, turn up to the house, and they're like, okay, they obviously judge you a little bit, being like, is this guy capable of stuff? And then they're like, yeah, here you go, here's the keys, have a drive. And you're like, what? How does that go about? You know, like, you go to a garage and you have to have your driving license, they ask your history,
Yeah.
they give you everything, and you're like, okay, yeah, you can drive now. But like, you just do Facebook Marketplace, and some people just have like the willingness to be like, here's the keys, go have a shot. I'm like,
If you
what?
think if that was your own car, you would be like, no.
I would just find it tough to be like, yeah, here you go, not a clue who you are,
Okay.
not a clue if you're actually going to buy the car, but yeah, here's my keys, drive it. So obviously this is quite a funny story, but what I want to bring it to is today. So I've actually had first day off in 7 days. I'd been speaking to someone about a sports car that I've been obviously wanting to drive, and I actually plan to hopefully get one at some point in my life. Nissan 350Z.
Oh, very nice. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, very nice car. So it's like the older version, right? Because of 370, and then there's like 350, right?
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So older version. Basically messaged this guy about a week ago. Basically I just did the usual, straight up a price. I went like, he was asking number, I just basically shot a number at him, and he went, can't really do that, I can do this. And then
was it below 10? What was the ballpark?
Yeah, below 10. So like the ballpark was, it's actually quite a cheap car because it's got a few issues and stuff with types of like panel work and stuff like that. But basically 4,800 I offered. He says he could do 5.2 was the lowest he ever came to.
What was it listed at?
So, it was listed at like 6, I think.
Okay.
So I was like £1,200 less. So went to see the car today and turned up, and it's this car that's been stripped out, basically ready to go drifting. And he's like, yeah, it's been sideways a couple of times. And then I was like, okay, cool. So it's like, it's on suspension. It's got spacers up the front. The front wheels are cambered to set up to like for drifting.
Yeah.
He's like, I've got a spare roll cage in there. It's got bucket seats sitting inside of it. And I'm like, it's even got hydraulic brake. And I'm like, and this thing's fucking cool as, you know, I'm just like loving it. I'm loving it. And just playing it really chill with it. I'm like, yeah, so can I get the engine bit? So what I did was, obviously he was like, okay, we'll go, what I'll do is there's not much fuel in it, but we'll go drive. Had really nice wheels on it. I have to say, like, the wheels as well were setting it off like perfect. It's like the sort of wheels I would put on it. I'd be like, I would want them. And I was like, okay, cool, like, let's go drive. He went and drove it a little bit, and he was just like, you know, absolutely gunned it at one point. And I was like, this thing just sounded so good, like nice tone, like not loud in the cockpit, in the cabin where you're like this is annoying, I couldn't imagine driving this for a long period of time. I definitely would change it back to the original seats, because could not live with a bucket seat going to work. Oh yeah, I'm going to work, like getting harnessed and everything, like just to get to work. So just wouldn't work. So yeah, I went basically from there, and the guy, we started driving off, absolutely gunned it. And then what I did was, he was like, pulled over to us just like randomly by. It's like, okay, here you go, you can drive now. I'm like, never driven this car before. It's got hydraulics, it's bucket seats. I was like, see if it's bucket static as well, so it doesn't move. I was like, how am I going to reach the pedals? He's a bit of a taller guy than me. I'm like, hopefully it moves. He's like, yeah, don't worry, it moves. So I was like, thank God. Got into the car, drove off. But as I drove off, obviously, different clutch, different biting point. I just spun it out the bit, out of coming out I let off the clutch a little bit too quickly and stuff, and it just spun coming out. But then, like, the the tires were spinning. Like, not used to it. I was just like, oh shit, a little bit more power than that.
Was
he kind of just laughed it off. He was like, it's fine. But honestly, just great car, just not the sort of one I would want to get. So like, I actually would like see the price the car is at. I was like, if I could get one similar, but just basically have everything in it, basically it's kind of stripped out, ready to be like a drift car. And I'm like, I wouldn't like it as a drift car, because I don't do that, obviously. I would want one that's just kind of like clean on the inside, new wheels, just like add a bit of personal touch, maybe just like aesthetics, basically. So yeah, that was really fun today. Going out and just driving some random guy's 350 as sort of a good way to do it. But 100%, see if you're looking for a new car and you want to see what it's like before you buy one, message people on Facebook, go see it, see what you get on. Doesn't matter if you don't buy it. They just want people to come and see it at least. So then, you never know. You might see one that you're like, oh, actually, I really like that, and just buy it. But if you don't try a load of different cars, how are you going to know what one you like and what you don't like? Like, even the guy who I was speaking to who owns that car, he had 3 other cars. He's like, I have a Lexus, I have this, and I have... Gotcha. Even if he's like, I bought a Ford F-150 and I thought I'd really like it, but like, no, I prefer like a low-down car. He's like, I like buying and trying the car and stuff. I was like, well, instead of buying and trying, how about just message and try? But yeah, Facebook has Facebook Marketplace specifically has multiple uses, and the biggest thing I think is there's an opportunity for people to even make a business out of it. I think if I was to have a van and to commute basically all over Scotland, I reckon I could buy and sell golf clubs or equipment all over Scotland using Facebook Marketplace and maybe not make great money, but enough to be able to live and enjoy life. Only thing I would say is probably long hours. You have to be like on it all the time. The issues with it, like, you do have to be there, like, something comes up, and if people get on top of it really quickly, like I've tried to get a couple of golf trolleys recently, message them and they're like, oh, it's already sold, and you're like, bit annoying, but yeah, it's definitely sort of great.
No, it's definitely, I was going to say, it's definitely a really good, fun thing to mess around with, and you've given plenty of examples of what you're doing and having fun with it. So yeah, I don't know, do you have anything else to add?
I think if anyone's listening to this and has used Facebook Marketplace or has a funny story, like, let us know. Like, it's honestly, like, I reckon there must be some better stories out there, collecting something and someone's came out in their boxers or something like that. Like, there's gonna be some funny things. Like, I've had people come out in their pajamas just going like, yeah, this is it, and I'm like, okay. There must be some good stories out there. So if you do have anything, would love to hear from you. And sort of either put a comment down the bottom or on our YouTube channel, and hopefully we'll hear from you. But yeah, your Facebook Marketplace, final thoughts? You got anything else you want to add?
I think it's just a really good, decent resource. Use it for what it's worth, and there's other stuff out there that you can use as well, but we think Facebook is
definitely
top dollar.
Okay, well, thank you guys for listening to this week's episode. Bit of a shorter one for you guys this week, but hope you guys enjoyed. Use Facebook Marketplace, try and make some money, and tell us about it. You can do it cheap, you can do it expensive. Go test drive a car.